Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Apologists, Ace Attorney. Let's continue on with this case, shall we? Da-da. Serious competition. Okay, here's something. The game began with 3,500 points and chips for each man. House chips come in two sizes, small and large. The one who was winning, was victim. For last hand, defendant played with all chips on table and lose. The moment loss was decided, defendant grabs bottle from table and she stops right there, doesn't she? Indeed, looking at this picture, it does seem to be a one-sided game. As the court knows, poker was the defendant's life. Failure must have been a bitter pill to swallow. Swallow, huh? That's what, I'm not even gonna say it. How many times have I heard these words? I done it in a fit of anger, yes, your honor, and I now regret it. A common tale, but true. Methinks the judge watches too many old court movies. Mr. Wright said he hasn't lost in 7 years, so this testimony must be wrong. 1 minute, folks. Okay, sorry about that, folks. The game began with 3,500 points in chips for each man. House chips come in two sizes, small and large. Now you want to press this because this is very vague. Are the chips in this photo all chips that were used? Of course. Something's fishy with these chips. Should I press harder? And you want to press harder, obviously, because you want to really make sure that you get what these chips really mean. Maybe you could explain a bit about these chips. Explain? What is there to be explained? Poker chips are poker chips. They're not fish and chips, not a chip off the old block, not a motorcycle cop, not a... Thanks. Now that I press harder, I better ask something. What are these chips worth? Are they in dollars or rubles even? And yet, as I've been saying before, it was a game, not gambling. Hard perhaps for capitalists to understand. Two types of chip, 100 points chip and 1,000 points chip. It's not in money, Doc. Justice. Sir? Don't you find her comments interesting? In more ways than one, sir. I'd have added her testimony myself. Well, does the defense want the witness to add this to her testimony? Yes, you want her to add this to her testimony because this makes the case a little bit simpler now, because now you know what each point chip is. Now what you normally would think each chip is worth is what you would normally think from the very beginning, but actually you'd be surprised. At that testimony, I wish I knew where I was going with this. Very well, witness, if you would be so kind. Your honor. One kind of chip is worth 100 points, other kind is worth 1,000 points. Now what you want to do is you want to present the chip photo here to this particular statement. You're sure it was the victim who won? Absolutely sure. It seems our new attorney is a bit confused. A glance at the picture is enough to tell you who won, if you're not in kindergarten. Just for safety's sake, could you explain the problem to the court? Of course, your honor. In this photo, I see small chips and I see large chips. Tell me which were worth 1,000 points. Why, the big ones, of course, duh. Oh, I thought so too, but then the totals don't add up. The totals? Let's review what the witness told us. Each man started out with 3,500 points in chips, and the combined total value of chips were 7,000 points. Yes, if my calculations are correct. Let's see. 3 plus 1, carry to 5. They are, your honor. Now, look at this photo that allegedly shows all the chips. The big chips were worth 1,000 points, and the small chips were worth 100. You add them up. How much does it? One side comes up to 10,000, over 10,000. The other one doesn't come up. Like, why would you? If in order to win, you need 7,000 points. Why go over? The chips don't add up. This clearly contradicts the witness testimony. But why? How could this be? Exactly, Justice. Now that you know the what, you must determine the why. Right, there's only one possible way. The starting points were wrong, chips were wrong, both were right. Each man began the game with 3,500 points. If all the chips were indeed shown in the photograph, then there can only be one answer. Well, what is it? The value of the chips was the other way around. What? Want to know what I think? The small chips are worth 1,000 points of the big ones. Madness! Utter madness! Show me the photograph of the chips again. There are 6 small chips and 10 large chips. You can do the math yourself, viewers. I'll give you a minute or two. Okay, now that's over. Why? That does make 7,000 points when you add them up. Excellent work, Justice. It's almost as though you figured it out by yourself. Well, I'm just glad I was the one who said it. Oh God, what does he want now? But wait! The value of the chips may be different, but that changes nothing. Indeed, the victim did have the large number of chips still. Ah! Exactly. The small chips were worth 1,000 points and the large chips were 100. Let's do a little math. Add up the points for each side of the table. The victim, Mr. Smith, had 2,900 points and the defendant had 4,100. Why would he strangle him if he actually had one? Well now, it seems that Mr. Wright was winning the night after all. That's impossible. My client has even less reason to kill the victim. After all, he was winning. Yeah! Now, Miss Orley, you must have known the true value of the chips, since you were the one there at the scene of the crime, weren't you? Eee! Order, order! It appears the defendant has lost his motive, and Mr. Wright's supposed defeat never happened. We must now ask ourselves whether we can trust— Hold it! Excuse me? What is it, Miss Orley? I did not want to be saying this, but— Actually, you see, See what, Miss Orley? What do we see? In the last hand, there was a cheat. Oh Lord, now we got cheating in the game now. It's a cheat? You don't mean a trick? Wait, or do you mean a scam? They're all the same. Yes, there was a cheat in last hand. That is why game ends with chips as they are. Great, just great. First we have lying, now cheating. Well, in this case, certainly has to take it a turn for the interesting. Witness, you will please testify to the court. Tell us about this cheating in the final hand. The final hand. The last hand, both men had full house. There is 4 of each card in deck, from ace to king. If you look at both men's hands, cheat is more obvious. The next moment, game becomes argument. The defendant's trick was exposed. He took bottle in his hand. Poor Mr. Smith. Poor Mr. Smith, my left butt. We don't even know anything about Smith. Miss Orley, why did you not tell the court about this from the very beginning? I thought I smelled a cover up here. I thought I smelled a trick. Well, folks, it's time to throw back the covers. The covers. Really? What am I, Russian? Not that I have any problems with Russian people. Don't take that wrongly, anybody. A full house is a very high-scoring hand. Not easy to make, in my experience. That alone is enough to suspect less than scrupulous tactics. Mr. Gavin, what's a full house? Lawyers these days, you don't know your poker. Well, excuse me. I can't say this bodes well for your case or career. Oh, you know what, Judge? Screw you. What is this? Some kind of secret court poker ring? Justice. You know the terms 1 pair, 2 pair, 3 of a kind, yes? Yeah, no problem. 2 cards with the same number makes a pair, and 3 makes a 3 of a kind. Good. Now picture a hand with 1 pair and 3 of a kind. That's a full house. It doesn't sound very easy to make, does it? You can see each player's hand in this photo. Wow, they both have full houses. Actually, if you look at this, if you look at that particular hand, there's something wrong with that picture. I won't point out. I think a lot of you already found it. Found it. We forget there is an easy way to make full house and go undefeated for 7 years. You cheat. Ahem. The defense may cross-examine the witness. If he did cheat in the last hand, that leaves one important question. Mr. Wright lost that hand. Whoever has heard of a professional con man losing when they cheat? That is true. Like, I mean, you're not a really good con man if you lose when you cheat. Now, what we want to do is we want to press statement 3. Let's see, what was statement 3 again? If you look at both men's hands, cheat is more obvious. Press this because this makes no sense if you never played poker in your life. How was it clear? Well, the defendant. He played a 5th ace. A 5th ace? I still remember both hands very well. Mr. Smith's hand had 3 aces. And Mr. Wright's too. Obviously cheating was afoot, and perhaps I should say a hand. Your Honor, perhaps this can be added to testimony without Mr. Payne's joke. Very well, the witness will add this testimony to her testimony. We'll add this detail to our testimony, not testimony to our testimony. That makes no sense. Mr. Smith's hand had 3 aces and Mr. Wright's 2. Now we want to present something to this. We want to present that chip photo back to this particular statement. It appears the witness is mistaken. Mistaken? But my name. Look at this piece of evidence. Clearly contradicts what you say in your testimony. Ooh, man. That's the photo of the chips, is it not? Justice. Perhaps you ought to explain your point in a way that the judge can comprehend. In other words, use your finger to point out your point. Yes, please point out the contradiction in this photo. Now, what you really want to point out is the victim's hand in particular. Something ain't right here, and we want to... I think we want to point here? I don't exactly remember. Because we can't really point to the... Oh, hold up. We point to here. I'm just making sure here, because I don't want to make the mistake. Okay, we want to present here, I think. I could be wrong. Miss Arlene, testimony. You made the following claim. Mr. Smith's hand had 3 aces. And if you notice, there's only 2 aces in this freaking hand right here. But as you can clearly see, the victim hand only has like 2 aces in it. Eek! Objection! It was a right voice. Well, maybe the witness was simply confused. Perhaps it was the defendant's hand that held the 3rd ace in question. Take another look at the evidence. As you can see, the defendant also only has 2 aces in his hand. I shouldn't have added only, but it doesn't really matter. I see cheating on rights, and it's going on right here in this courtroom. What was that? We'll go on a little bit longer for this part. 2 aces in each player's hand does make 4 aces total. Hardly proof of cheating. Wait, please! If it is true, I have seen it. The 5th ace. There was cheating, I swear to you. That's odd. She must be lying, yet she's the most sincere I've seen her all day. You're right to trust her instincts. Mr. Gavin? Who knows what lies in store for us in the trial ahead? Your Honor, if I may, I have a suggestion. What might that be, Mr. Gavin? If you don't mind, perhaps we might examine the actual cards. The cards? Mr. Payne. Yes? The player's hands that night were set aside as evidence, were they not? The defense will have to request the cards be shown to the court. Very well, the prosecution will submit this evidence. The victim's cards are the defendant's cards. If these cards don't prove cheating was going on, nothing will. Now, which of these hands is more suspicious? The victim's hand. It was the victim's hand that changed over the course of the witness's testimony. The defense requests the time to examine Mr. Smith's cards. Very well, Mr. Payne, if you would. Very well. Very well. Time's wasting. Get to it, Justice. Yes, yes, sir. Now, we want to do is we want to. Whoa, they're doing it for me already. That's kind of shocking. When examining evidence, be sure to view it from all sides, or in angles. Try using the dials in the evidence viewer. This should give you a better perspective on the case. Now, you can be doing this a lot. Now, I like this a lot about this particular, I like this about, now, as you see right here, what is with this card right here being blue? What? Your Honor, look at this. One of the victim's cards. The back is a different color. Eh? Eh? That's impossible. Why'd I put that card in Right's hand? Ack? What was that, Miss Orley? No, niet, nothing. Merely said a da. I have eek. Your Honor, Mr. Gavin, yes. Tell me, what is the easiest way to cheat at poker? To cheat? I'll tell you. One merely needs a friend, a comrade, shall we say. The dealer. Wait, so you mean this witness is Orley? She's the cheater, a professional, I'd wager. Nyarg! I like that, how she's able to catch the boards all in one sitting here. Order. Focus, Justice. Time to take advantage of...
Call from Pirate Services.
Okay, never mind. I don't have to pick that up. Focus, Justice. Time to take advantage of her. Of her mistake. Your Honor. 1 minute. I'm so sorry. Phones are just ringing off today. Please recall the testimony we just heard. That's impossible. But I put the card in the Right's hand. Ergo, Miss Olga Orley conspired to cheat not with my client, but with the victim, Mr. Shady. And I gotta put my earphones back in. Okay, stop doing that. Not only did she cheat, she cheated poorly. Therefore, it's not hard to imagine an altercation between her and the victim. What? Wait, you don't mean the defense isn't accusing a witness, Miss Orley, are you? Time for justice. There were 3 people in the room at the time of the incident, and Mr. Wright isn't guilty. That means I am. The defense accuses the witness, Miss Olga Orley, of murder. I guess we'll just, Mr. Payne, where's your witness, Miss Olga Orley? Ermit Versi has lost her consciousness, Your Honor. The Justice, Your Honor. It seems you presented a new possibility to the courts. Now, one suggesting a connection between the witness and the victim, Mr. Smith. And that means this court cannot pronounce a verdict for the defendant at this time. What? I did it. I held out. I see no point in prolonging the trial this day. Prosecution will need to make further inquiries. Mr. Wright? You can't end the trial here, Your Honor. Not yet. What nonsense is the defendant spewing out now? I guess we'll find out in the next parts of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. I guess I'll be seeing you guys back here.